Okay, we are live.
Hey, all you hacks. Welcome to the Shack. This is Hack Shack Studios. We are coming live from Hack Shack Studios. I am Art T. Bear, 35-year comic book veteran. This wacky comics industry, mainly working for DC Marvel. Have worked for some upstart companies like, I don't know, you might have heard of it, Image Comics. Characters, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, X-Men, that stuff. And with me is the multi-talented and amazing and
That was a scary pause.
well, I'm getting a set up for the Brightburn rundown from you. But it's Taylor Grosso. Hey, Taylor Grosso.
Hi, Art. How's it going?
It's going good.
Look what we got.
Can they see that?
They can. You know you made it when you get chibis.
We're starting off strong with the Cheebs. So who drew these Cheebs?
These are by Popefire, Ravenfire, and colored by Dow X.
I love it. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
We have been very, delinquent in our fan art posting. So this is some fan art we've had for a while. I'm just now getting around to posting it. So I hope you guys like it. And thank you so much, Popefire, for doing it and sending it to us.
It's adorable.
Yeah, look at it. She's worn out. Whitney's a little worn out from all the craziness she's created.
Oh, there's a lot.
And you know what? I'm sure Reed with those eyes, look at his eyes. He's drinking some kind of caffeinated beverage. Because he's like, somehow I got to get this lady home.
Aw, he does have to carry her in the course of the story. She's a sleepy girl.
She was heavily tranked.
It needed to be done.
It needed to be done.
Oh, and by the way, if you guys have your own fan art you'd like to submit, you can submit that using the Dropbox that we have set up for portfolio reviews and stuff.
Would that be for the Mediafire?
That would be the Mediafire.
Yahoo! Yahoo! Yes, I expect to see no less than 200 by this time tomorrow fan art.
All in chibi form?
No. I want to see some stuff like just crazy rendered in ink, like the old 90s line work that we used to do. I want at least 1,000 lines on one single face.
1,000 on one face?
Yeah.
Actually, that could be cool.
Taylor, I don't know if you know this, but Bob Harris in the X Office used to give us quotas.
For lines?
For lines. Yeah, he'd say no less than 1,000 lines on each face.
Did hatches count?
Those were the hatches, yes.
Okay, so just like little short.
Yeah, just lines. They didn't have to be outlines, but mostly hatches, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense for the 90s.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Do you believe me?
I believe you.
Does the chat believe me?
I don't. Chat, how many?
There's nobody in the chat yet.
Donnie Thumb. That's not true because we have Donnie Thumb and Fist.
All right, Thumb and Fist.
Who says what's the word? Snapperheads.
Snapperheads.
We call them hacks here.
They're hacks. Sorry.
Snapperheads.
But we need to know in the chat, yes or no. Am I telling the truth?
So if you believe the line quota in 90s comics
from Bob Harris, the X-Men editor.
I mean, I could see it. And you know what? The work was better for it.
We got paid per line back then.
Ooh, that would be cool.
In that case, I'll throw a couple more in.
So yeah, if I didn't say before, I'll be reading your guys' chats if you want to chime in.
You know, if we did construction and stuff, we would be able to charge per whatever, right? Why can't we charge per line?
I don't know. Jim Bobo says maybe.
What?
And Donald DeLay says, yes, I believe the line quota.
Thank you, Donald. Finally, somebody.
And Title says, FYI, I'm coming for a job in a few years.
Good.
I don't know if that quota exists anymore.
Well, I thought he was like maybe he'd want to work here at Hack Shack Studios.
Oh, do we have a line quota?
No, because I can't afford it. But this time next year, we're going to have so many books out.
And the Patreon, maybe?
We're going to have so many opportunities for young upstarts.
And old upstarts that are talented.
Yeah, you know what? We're not gonna age. We're not ageist.
We're not ageist.
Yeah. If that was the case, then I wouldn't be working right now.
Me neither.
Because you know what? You guys don't even know how old Taylor is. She is ancient.
64.
When I'm 64. Is retirement 64 or is it now 66? I think they moved it up.
I don't know. I don't ever see that happening, so I never think about it.
Well, there's going to be nothing left for us anyways. You know, us oldsters. Well, if you're 64, though, you only have 2 years to wait.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then I can finally die.
No, you'll retire.
Oh.
And then you'll die.
Oh. Why can't I do it before so they can be like, she worked till the last day?
Well, it depends on how you want to go out. Do you want to go out with your boots on, or do you want to go out like in the lap of government money luxury?
That'll never happen.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, maybe. We'll see how the
the
years
measly
go.
stipend that the that the government will give you.
They'll give us a can of Spam and be like, you can twist the lid to make a spoon.
The good thing is when you're retired, you can work part-time and still get your retirement.
What, really?
Yeah.
Why don't people just work part-time then all the time?
I don't know. My parents had to make ends meet.
Oh, I would anyway. I don't know. Depends on, I guess, where you work part-time if you enjoy it. How did we get to this?
You know what? We're not going to have to worry about any of this stuff. You know why?
Because black and white?
Yeah, because black and white, chrono mechanics, all the other things we have planned.
I gave Chrono Mechanics a long read last night.
We're going to be rolling in the dough. I saw your Post-its on the book.
It was...
Are you taking notes?
I am taking notes. If you guys don't know, Chrono Mechanics is really funny.
That sounded almost sincere.
It is.
Is it sincere?
I think so.
You know, I'm having so much fun, I'm not even drawing right now.
There's a scene where Doug's a stripper. I forgot about it.
Isn't his stripper named Sledgehammer?
Yes, he looked like a... I don't want to spoil it. But yes.
Well, that's one way to make some money.
Yeah, I mean, you could retire and then, if that counts as part-time.
I wonder if people would pay if I shook my moneymaker.
Title says, that's about as believable as a line quota. Ooh, they're
Wait a
calling
minute.
you out on the line quota.
We have a doubter in our midst.
We haven't even, speaking of line quota.
Do I need help? Taylor wants me to get to work.
No!
She's like, get to work.
Speaking of line quota, look at that beautiful blue line.
You know what? Taylor just wants to talk about Brightburn.
I wanted you to watch Brightburn so that you could understand how bad it truly was.
I am not going to support that.
I mean, I would never recommend you pay for it.
I almost said out loud child molester. I guess he's not... He's not quite a child molester.
That we know of.
He's just a weirdo. Who are we talking about, Taylor?
We're talking about James Gunn.
I always want to say Peter Gunn.
Well, who's Peter Gunn? That sounds really familiar.
I think I get like Peter Quill and James Gunn mixed up.
They're thematically similar.
Although Peter Quill's character didn't support him when all that crap came out. They fired him. All
they had was Batista supporting good old James Gunn, who I guess is back at Marvel anyway.
Batista or Peter Gunn?
Peter Gunn, James Gunn. Darn it.
Got you, sucker.
I don't know, but Batista, it would be really funny if he wasn't.
He doesn't come back for some reason.
Like, they're like, no, you stepped away.
They're like, no, you quit. We replaced you with, double duty. What's that guy? The Triple X guy?
Vin Diesel?
Yeah, so Vin Diesel plays two characters now.
Did you know Vin Diesel has a tattoo of his D&D character's name?
Is it Vin Diesel?
No, I forget the character's name. I just find that really funny.
Did you like the, what was it? The something of Riddick?
The Chronicles?
Did you like those?
No, but Chronicles is like a good name. Like the Chrono Chronicles.
I know, it got me. I went and saw... I didn't just see the one, I saw both of them.
I saw the second one. Because the first one's Pitch Black, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't see Pitch Black until I was older.
All right, Taylor, since we're older, I have a question. And this is for everybody in the chat, too. There was a point in my life where I saw... every damn movie that came out. I didn't even discriminate. Like, if it was out, I went to see it. Have you ever had a moment in your life like that?
Absolutely. When I was a teenager, it's weird because, like, I don't know, I guess I was, like, hustling to get money, but I also spent it all the time on movies, and they were, like, movies I didn't even want to see. So, like, I look back on that and thinking, like, movies were cheaper then. They were, like, $5, because I would go, like, after school. But, like, I look back and think, like, wow, like, I was working really hard to make money and then just spending it on movies I didn't even want to see that badly.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't have a girlfriend.
I didn't, unfortunately. But, yeah, like, I saw, like, every movie that came out around when I was probably, like, 15 to 17. You know, you're just like, let's just go see a movie. Like, now I have to really want to see a movie to see it.
Yeah, I think I have so many obstacles, like, I put up now to go see a movie. It's crazy.
It has to be justified.
Yeah, because I have to go, well, do I just, watch it on Netflix, or do I wait for it to, come out on Blu-ray? What do I do?
Yeah, like, I guess most movies I watch, I wait till they come out. Also, like, I don't see a lot of movies when they're in theaters unless I really particularly am interested.
Like Brightburn.
Oh no, I didn't see that in a theater.
Wait a minute, where'd you see it?
Online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I needed something to listen to while I was working. And
so did James gonna get your money?
He did not get my money.
Good.
But I wanted to watch Ma, that weird movie we were talking about in the last chat with Octavia Spencer. The tiny black actress that looks very innocent, playing like an evil villain.
That looks cheesy good.
Yeah, like I was like, I can listen to that and probably like laugh. But what the heck is this? Title says, my dad bought every VHS that came out. I could have built a small house out of them if I wanted. And Simon says, I did the same with movies. I would do the same, but I live in a small town in Canada and I don't want to rent online.
Yeah, I saw every crappy movie that came out probably for about 5 years of my life.
Were you like a young teen, or?
Yeah, I was young.
You just want something to do. Or to be inspired, hopefully.
Yeah, it just seemed like the thing to do. I think it was also, it was a big topic of discussion. Like if you went to school the next day, like it comes out on Friday or whatever, you see it over the weekend, then you come to school Monday and you're like, hey, did you see this movie? And then you get to talk about it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because you're always like, I saw this over the weekend, then you guys talk and debate about it. That was fun. I
remember I think middle school, somebody was like, I saw The Exorcist. And I'm like, no way. Because we were underage.
You're not allowed.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I saw it.
I remember doing that.
I got in. I saw it. How did you get in?
I was like that because I saw the South Park movie. I was like, I got to see it.
How did you get in? I don't know.
My cousin brought me in.
I just got in. I paid for my ticket to whatever, and then I snuck in.
I did that when I was a kid.
You know what? As soon as they created the multiplex, it was all over, right?
Yeah.
Like, who wouldn't sneak into another theater?
I got caught before, though.
Did you?
Yeah, it was absolutely humiliating. And that was the closest I've come to, like, that's the only time I've, stolen something. And I never did anything like that again after, because it was so humiliating.
I never snuck into a movie theater. The only thing I did do, and, I don't know. Hey, you guys, I tell you everything, right? This is just between you and I, right? It's not going to go anywhere else.
They're not going to spread it around.
Yeah, they're my good friends, all right? They wouldn't. Is a friend of mine and myself were waiting in line for Star Wars, the first Star Wars.
Ooh.
Okay. And we're in line, and we get up, because then, your parents, we didn't have phones, we didn't have any way to contact our parents and stuff. So if the plans changed, you were SOL.
Because I assume you're like, pick me up at 3. And
right, after the movie. Yeah, exactly. So if we didn't get to see that showing, we weren't going to get to see the movie, and we just have to, dink off for, 2 hours. And so we're waiting in line, and just before we get to the entrance, sold out.
No!
Yes. And so we were like, we are not going to go without seeing this movie. So the thing is, like, this theater had, like, you came in one direction. Movie theaters used to be busy.
Yeah.
They used to be crazy busy.
There'd be a crowd.
There would be wall-to-wall people in these, like, little lobbies and stuff. And so there were people, like, coming in, but the people in the theater were coming out at the same time. So we just kind of did that thing, well, let's walk backwards, right? And no one will know. We didn't walk backwards, but that was kind of a thought. And we just walked in through the outdoor.
Ooh.
So it wasn't a back door, it was just a side door. You could see it all, but there were so many people. You know what I mean? Like, if there was nobody there, we would have got caught. But there was... I'm just always thinking, if it was sold out, somebody didn't have seats.
Somebody didn't.
I never thought about that till now.
We're like, what the heck? Like, did they oversell the ticket?
Yeah, so that's how I saw the first Star Wars. So I'm sorry, George, you didn't get my money.
That's the rebel way.
I would have gladly paid for it though. It wasn't a dollar problem.
Well, you wanted to.
Yeah, I would have.
But you couldn't get in. That's different.
Yeah.
We just were hoodlums.
And I'll tell you right now, it changed my life.
See, so it was worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Simon says, I did the same with the movies. I would do oh no, you're talking about collecting movies. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, that must be like a somewhat universal struggle, because there's a Hey Arnold episode that's about that very thing. Like, they're lined up to see a movie that they really want to see, the boys, Gerald and Arnold, and the movie sells out. So they're like, we have to sneak in, it's the only way. Like, they're like reduced to it because everybody's seeing the movie. So they like basically they have to sneak in through the theater. They're like spy style, like sneaking through the vents and stuff. And they,
way cooler than the one we did.
It's pretty great. And they can like hear like there's like an R-rated horror movie they established is playing at the same time, so they like accidentally get in there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good cartoon.
It was very good. It was way superior to Brightburn.
So, have we warmed them up enough to talk about Brightburn?
Well, first, Art, what are you working on right now?
Nothing.
What? But that's black and white.
Just my obsession for the last 6 months. For the last 25 years.
I was going to say, I think it's been longer than 6 months now.
All right, you guys. Is this 48? What is this?
Page 47?
This is 47. So we got 47. Let me see if I can give you guys. Let me see what 47 is supposed to look like.
Do we have it? Let's see.
See this, you guys? This represents all of our hard work. And look, it's almost done.
Oh my gosh. No spoilers.
We're so close. We're so close. Okay, I don't want anybody to see this page. So I'll put... So this is the page I'm working on. So I'm going to bring this one together. So these two panels are probably going... Well, they are changing. Taylor's working on them now. So yeesh, right there.
That's the best page in the book.
Leaping into action. Yeah, so is it the best? It's one of the best.
They're all the best.
It's one of the best pages in the book.
Aaron Alfecci says, wow.
That's exactly what I was hoping for.
I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit and see if I can make it a little brighter, even though it looks good on my screen. But
a little bright burning?
Simon says, if Black and White became a movie, would you have it as a trilogy series or a one and done? It's a good question.
I think it could definitely sustain more than one movie. One of the things Taylor and I are working on right now is kind of a Netflix formula for it. And where it's serialized one right after the other. Because there are definitely stories that could go on and on and on and on with these guys. It's a pretty rich history here.
Yeah, it could easily, like Art said, kind of looking into the streaming service, because it's like, I guess, long form storytelling, but it's serialized but long form like a movie. Does that make any sense?
Well, it's like Netflix is the best of like a movie and a TV show.
Yes.
So you kind of have like movie quality production and subject matter, but then you get to um, serialize it. But you get to the formula or the way they do it is you can take the story right after the last one. So most of the time TV doesn't do that. They're just kind of one and dones. But this you can make a pretty intense ongoing experience.
It's the best of both worlds.
Like a comic book, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It is, I think, like you said, close to comic book storytelling, and the comic experience of black and white is the main story. So.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, you were reading over some Chrono stuff. I actually gave myself a little bit of time over the weekend just to goof off and enjoy, and so I ended up reading the black and white story. It is, I'm sorry you guys, it is so amazing. God, I wanted to cuss so bad. I was gonna say the F word. It is so awesome. I am so proud of this, you guys. Like, I can't even express how proud of this book I am, and I cannot wait to get it into your hands. God, there's some stuff in there. I don't know, there's probably creative people out, listening right now, but
oh, definitely.
Where you kind of look back at what you did and you just go, that's really good, and then you're almost in disbelief, like, did I do that? You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, yeah. I can't, where did that come from? That kind of thing. And as I was reading, there's stuff like that, and I'm like, where did we come up with that stuff? Where did that come from?
And we know we wrote it, you guys, but like...
We know we wrote it because our names are on it.
But I think that's the way you should feel once it's, at the end stage.
Well, I remember hearing, like, Paul McCartney, it was one of the great songs that he wrote, and he woke up and he had the whole thing in his head, right? And so he played it, and he was like, this sounds like somebody else's song. Like, this is too amazing. And so...
That's a good feeling.
So then he went and he played it for the rest of the band and everything. And he was like, I'm just ripping somebody off, right? This has been written before. And they're like, no, we've never heard anything like this before.
He couldn't believe he wrote it.
Yeah, he was just like, wow, okay.
There was, that's kind of how I felt about that, without spoiling dialogue, that Chang scene when he's talking to Whitney. Where I was like, wow, we wrote that. And it's like, that sounds like something really cool. And it's like, yeah, and it just came from us.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's the Whitney in the hospital scene with the doctor.
Oh, that's a good one too. You know what? They're all good ones.
We're just good.
This is a really good book, you guys.
No, you guys are gonna get your money's worth out of it. There is, it's taking time, but even like today, we went back on a few of the pages because we were having, like, in time, like, creatively, you have distance from it, and you can come back on it, and you can see if things are working or not. And so we went back and we rewrote. Actually, I mean, we rewrote it, but it hasn't, it hasn't been lettered or anything yet. But we re-dialogued the page.
Yeah, it wasn't a backstep by any means.
Yeah, and it's so much better.
Oh, definitely.
Sometimes just asking yourself, like, a simple question gets you to a different place in the story, or working out one problem, and then you realize, like, it's like a domino, like a creative domino effect, and then you just keep going with it, and it just gets better and better.
And it definitely has, I think.
I don't think it. I know it. This thing freaking rocks.
What we're saying is
wait,
this
wait,
is
wait.
a really good book.
This thing freaking rocks. Or is it this way? Wait, this is sending. This is blocking. Wait,
yeah,
this
blocking.
This is sending. This is blocking.
That's right.
That's Dio taught me that.
Or was it Gene Simmons?
Yeah, that's for a Kiss Corner.
That's a debate for another time.
That's for a Kiss Corner, Kevin. If you were listening.
I almost said something more, but I'll leave it at that. Simon says, I would binge watch the crap out of it.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Simon. I would too.
You're just critical. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wrote that. Stinks. Oh, look at that.
If it was on Netflix and it got the same treatment that the Umbrella Academy did, then I would be really mad.
Is the Umbrella Academy, is that still on?
I think they have another season.
Oh, is it gonna go another season? Okay.
It doesn't need to, but I guess it is. That show is like abysmal. It's not as bad as Brightburn though, but it's definitely not good.
What do you want to talk about Brightburn now? Is everybody in the chat prepared?
Has anybody in the chat seen Brightburn? Because if not, there's going to be some spoiler talk.
And some crap talk.
And some crap talk about James Gunn's latest film.
His manifesto.
It feels like a manifesto. Whoever wrote, I know that when you're portraying something in movies, it doesn't necessarily, reflect
who you are.
I think it kind of does, but, it doesn't necessarily affect you, endorsing behavior. But whoever wrote that has some, really strange... deep-seated issues, I think.
Didn't you say his brother wrote that?
His brother wrote it, yes. And I guess it seems like they cranked out that movie really quickly, right?
Well, he needed to make some money because the Guardian of the Galaxy money was drying up.
Everybody's saying to spoil it. So, the concept is, if you don't know, what if Superman came to Earth, but instead of, being the exception to the alien rule and being kind-hearted and virtuous, what if he was an evil serial killer? Such a unique concept, right?
DC doesn't have anything like that, do they?
I mean, I would say they have about 17 different comics juggling with that idea, but apparently film hasn't tackled it, except for in every alien movie ever.
So what I'm hearing is that it might not be all that original of an idea?
I mean, I don't think so.
That maybe comic books have done this for decades?
Yeah, once again, I think the movies exploring concepts that comic book fans have, had done to death by this point. And, the movie starts in the most heavy-handed way, where it almost feels like a kid's movie. Because, when you have a kid's movie, you want to really show, not tell things and dumb it down in a way that a small child can understand. And the movie heavily, I was telling Art, the movie completely relies on the viewer knowing, to some depth, Superman's origin story. And knowing the character of the Kents and stuff like that. And, I think I said, they totally relied, they didn't establish anything. And then you brought up, they couldn't because they would get sued. They wouldn't be allowed to show the origin story.
This is just like Superman.
Yeah, the movie doesn't show a whole lot of the Superman origin story, but it heavily relies on the viewer knowing about it. If I went into the movie blind and I didn't know anything about Superman, which most of the population does, I would not know what was going on for the first half of the movie. It would be the strangest course of events. I would never assume that child was an alien or anything. It was really weird. But the movie opens with the two Kent characters who are called Briars. The Briars. They're in bed, and the first thing you see is a book, which, by the way, I believe this movie's set in contemporary time, so keep that in mind. There's a book that says Dealing with Infertility. And it's just sitting there, and then behind the book you see the couple in bed, and the dad's maybe this time we'll get lucky and have a baby. And the wife says, let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And
damn right.
I was like, if there's struggle with infertility, maybe don't remind her of that when you're like about to, get it on. And then all of a sudden, some lights flash. What was weird is the husband screamed, not the wife. He's like, ah! What happens? And then it just jump cuts to some footage of, like, them raising a child. Like you take video of your kid when they're little, some camcorder stuff. And the dad says the weirdest thing. Like, they show the kid growing up, and they show him when he's a toddler, and he's like, he's pretending to mow the lawn, and he goes, yeah, that boy's a Briar. He's just like a Briar. And I was like, I guess it's their last name because we haven't established their last names. And that's a really weird thing to say. So, they have the kid. And the kid doesn't know he has powers at the beginning of the story, which I guess differs from Superman in that they always knew he was different. And the movie contradicts itself in that the kid doesn't know that he has any special abilities at all. But later in the movie, the dad says, we should have known. He's never gotten sick. He's never broken a bone. He's never even bled.
All right, let's just back up. What movie's that from?
Definitely from Superman.
It's also from Unbreakable. They
oh my gosh, you're right.
They almost use the same exact dialogue.
He's never gotten sick. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It is, and also he doesn't even say like, we should have known. We found him in the woods in a spaceship. He says we should have known he's never gotten sick or broken a bone.
Because we can't say spaceship and stuff because, like you said, they get
Superman. Yeah.
Gets sued.
So the kid doesn't know he has powers. He seems totally normal.
The kid doesn't know he's Superman.
Yeah, somehow he doesn't know he's strong. I guess he wasn't strong. And then he's sleeping one night, and the weirdest course of events happen. And like I said, if you didn't know the story of Superman, I don't think you'd have any idea what was going on. Like, the kid, who's a really bad actor, is sleeping, and he starts mumbling in, like, tongues, and then he has a seizure for some reason, and then he gets up and jumps out his window. And the mom is up painting, and I guess she knew he left, so she walks to the barn and finds the kid, like, crazily trying to get into the locked portion of the barn. And after that, he ends up breaking in, and the ship is there, and he cuts his hand on the ship. And he's like, it cut me, establishing that apparently the ship can hurt him, I guess, because it's made out of the same material, like some metal from his planet. So then she tells him, like, there was no adoption agency. We found you. And after that, he becomes evil because I guess the ship is communicating with him telepathically. And it's saying some, like, random alien words. So he gets mad that he was adopted, and he, like, runs outside. When he knew he was adopted, he gets mad that they lied to him about the ship. And he starts speaking in tongues, and then Hodor style, he's, like, forms the words and finds that he was supposed to take over the planet. So he's like, think like Joe Dirt, like, not a maker, but he's like, take over the planet. And then he goes, ah, and he shoots lasers out of his eyes at the audience in the worst effect I've seen in years. So from that point on, the kid is evil. And the parents refuse to believe it for a time. He has one friend in school that's this cute girl that has a crush on him, who I think Hollywood's going to groom to be somebody. And they decide to go, which, keep in mind, the kid just turned evil. He's probably like 12. What ends up happening is the dad finds like a secret stash in the kid's room, and he thinks it's like, fledgling pornography at first. And then he realizes the kid has like printed out pictures of humans' organs. And he shows the mom and is like, our son's looking at this. And she's like, is that a guy thing? He's like, no. Which I don't know why she would see like pictures of open bodies and say that. Like, it was the weirdest thing.
That's what guys do, right?
They look at just organs. Like, no. So he's like, I need to have a talk with them. We're going to go camping. So I think, cool, they're going to go camping. He meant that they're going to go camping in the backyard with the mom also with them, which was weird. So he's like hunting with the kid and he's like, hey, I know things are changing and it's okay to look at that porn. And the kid's like, really? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And then he tells him, like, if you ever get some urges, feel free to act on it. And apparently the kid is so stupid that he's like, I guess he thinks any kind of urges. So he's like, even right now? And the dad's like, no. And then chooses not to tell the mom how weird the kid is acting. So that night the kid shows up at his only friend's house in her window, flying. And she gets terrified and tells her mom. And of course no one believes her. Which, like, the movie should have been told from that kid's point of view. Because, like, I guess it would have been more unique than Superman, but it also would have been more terrifying that, like, you have a crush on this boy who turns out to be a horrible, like, psychopath with superpowers. Then she tells the mom, like, he was there, and the mom's like, this is really weird, but probably unlikely. And then the next day at school, they're doing some trust exercise in PE. I don't know if that ever...
Which people do.
I was gonna say,
what?
Have you ever experienced that?
No.
Because I thought that was the weirdest thing.
It's really weird.
So they're like, do a trust fall. So the little girl's scared of him because he's like leering at her and he was like watching her in the night. So she doesn't catch him. And then the coach is like, you better help him up. And she's like, I don't want to help him up. He was like watching me. So then he's like, do it. She goes to help him up and he breaks her hand. He like grabs her hand and won't let go and like squeezes it and like her hand gets like crushed horribly. So then, you know, the parents are called and the mom's just like, he didn't mean to. And the kid's hand is like demolished.
And nobody's like, that's superhuman strength.
Yeah, like how would he be able to do that?
How does a kid be able to smash bones in somebody's hand?
I forgot to mention the way the kid discovered he had super strength is he was starting a lawnmower. And when he pulled the cord really hard, the lawnmower went flying across a field.
Ooh, cool.
But like,
stupid.
Why it didn't just break the cord off, I don't know. But that's what happened. See, he broke her hand. And the dad's like, if I would have done that as a kid, my dad would have beat me. And the mom's just like, something...
Yeah, if I would have done that, like, it's just a normal, like, just, you know, a normal person can just break the bones in somebody's hand.
And, like, the normal person would even do that? Like, how would that even be? How many people have to deal with their, like, adolescent son breaking, like, the girl they had a crush on's hand? Like, if I did that...
Well, you know what? I'll just say this. This is what Hollywood does. They normalize bad behavior.
And the mom's just like, I don't know why he would have done it. Like, there must be some explanation.
What did she do?
Like, yeah, and then...
You know how they always blame the other person?
They do, and they treat the mom like crap, because, like, her mom leaves... They show that the mom's, like, working all the time, and she leaves from work, and she's like, your son attacked my daughter, like, what the heck? And, she's just like... She's, you know, pissed off about it. And she's like, I want the police called about this. Like, he smashed her hand. They said she's not going to be able to use her hand ever again.
Yeah, that's not a normal broken... That's crushing.
Yeah, like, that's beyond. So she's like, I want the police called about this. And the principal's like, now, I don't think that needs to happen. And, you know, everybody's on the kid's side for some reason. And then she's like...
Wait a minute, they're on the kid that broke the other kid's hand side?
Yes, it was really weird.
Okay.
So then, like, she lashes out at the mom, and she's like... Because, you know, apparently everybody in town knows the kid's adopted. And she's like, your son must have come from some crazy hillbillies for him to break my daughter's hand. And then, like, the mom's like, I can't...
Not to mention, it's a superhuman strength.
Yeah, no one's addressing that. Like, it would take a lot of power.
Just a normal kid can do this.
They conveniently never, like, address that. Level 3 says, I'm already really happy I didn't spend money to see this movie. And
I don't know, the way Taylor's telling it sounds a lot better than it probably is.
Art always says I describe these better than they are. Level 3 says the lawnmower cord also had superhuman strength. Yeah, so the mom gets mad and she's like, I can't believe you would stoop so low to trash talk, her words, to trash talk a child. And it's like, your child broke my kid's hand. Like, sorry I called him a hillbilly. Like, that's probably the least I could say about him, because he's a monster. But so then she leaves and she's like, we're leaving, come on. So then that night, the poor girl is like terrified and she's like staying up in bed, sweating, her hands jacked up. You can tell she's just like waiting for him to show up, and he shows up at her window and she's like, ah, and he's like, oh, don't be afraid, don't say anything. And she's like, I'm not supposed to talk to you, like my mom says I'm not allowed to. And he's like, I'm gonna fix that. And then he goes and murders her mom in a really like graphic, horrible manner.
Describe it.
She's working at the diner, and she's like just shutting off work. She tells the cooks to go home. She's like, I'll shut up, don't worry about it.
It has something to do with the deep fryer?
No, it's the first thing that happens is like she's walking out, getting ready to go home, and then all of a sudden all the like lights and glass break, and she tries to shield herself, but then there's a giant shard of glass stuck in her eyeball, and there's like a really gratuitous long
Oh wait,
scene
I saw this on some clip.
where she pulls it out.
She pulls it out. Like it wouldn't pull the whole eye out of the socket.
Yeah, it's so deep in there.
It's muscle. If anybody knows, like, you stab into muscle, the muscle contracts. Right?
Yeah, it would totally pull your eyeball out.
I think the eye would come out, yeah.
Especially like how big the shard is. And she does it like I don't know. She does it very calmly for someone with glass in her eye. She's just kind of like like I would have been like, oh my gosh, and just like left. Like I'd be afraid to pull it out. But, you know, she pulls it out, and the kid shows up wearing this spooky mask we never saw him make, but we saw him draw. And she tries to run from him and ends up getting like hit by him, and she gets hit and injured in like the kitchen area. And then we don't see what he does. It's implied that he's gonna like laser her with his eyes. I know. So then apparently her body's missing. No one can find her because they show these police like looking over it, and they're like, what happened here? She's missing, and there's glass everywhere and blood. And the one character says like, oh, did anybody tell her daughter? And they're like, yeah, she's in like hysterics. But they never say that the daughter like said anything, you know, about the kid basically saying he was gonna kill her mom. And
Little Brightburn.
Yeah, and we never see like the kid. We never see that character again after that.
The little girl?
Yeah, we never see her again.
Well, that's good.
So I guess her torture was over. But there's also a kid that picks on him in the story, and that kid never gets attacked by him or anything, which I thought was like the obvious thing.
Well, okay, let's just back up. Okay, so the thing was that it's an alien race, and they sent this kid to conquer the Earth, right?
Yeah, I guess so. As a baby.
Is there anything that leads back to that, or is he just a serial killer? Is he making contacts, like trying to get in, like, you know what? I should start killing heads of state. I should like start like you know, there's one thing being a serial killer, right? But there's another thing, conquering. Like conquering is a lot more than just just willy-nilly killing people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's totally different.
Yeah, because, like, that's all he does. Like, he doesn't really make any steps. The only thing he does is, like, he tells the little girl, and he says, like, nobody but you knows how special I am, and someday the whole world's going to know. But then he doesn't really, like, he keeps it under wraps, you know? Like, he doesn't tell anyone about the mom. Like, she's missing, and the whole town knows, because it's, like, a small town. And then he kills his uncle, but he also tries to hide that. So, like, he doesn't really do any actual steps towards conquering anything.
So he's just more homicidal than actually, like, living up to his potential.
Yeah, and he really just, like, threatens people because, like, his aunt is the school counselor. So after he breaks the girl's arm, she's like, I'll talk to him. So she's brought in as a character, and she's the mom's sister. And they bring in that there's an uncle that the kid is close to because it's the kid's like 12th birthday or something, and the uncle's there. And I forgot to mention at the birthday, which is right after he starts getting like aggressive, the uncle buys him a gun. And the dad goes, no guns. But they were hunting, so I thought that was kind of weird, but whatever. So he's like, no guns. He like scolds the uncle, and the kid gets all mad, like, it's mine. So what ends up happening is he talks to the counselor about what he did to the girl. And the counselor's like, do you feel bad? And he's like, no. Sometimes when bad things happen to people, it's supposed to happen to them. Sometimes they deserve it. And she's like, okay. Like, you shouldn't say those things. Also, this is a major conflict of interest because you're my nephew, but whatever. So
and also, if you're going to conquer the world, you got quite a big body like count that you're... You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to conquer the world? Everybody already knows you exist and you're doing horrible things.
You're already on the world's radar. Yeah. So it skips to nighttime and the aunt has like her security up and she hears like the little like alert that someone's at the door. So she's like, oh, what the heck? Goes and her creepy nephew's there. And she's like, what is his name? Darren or something stupid. She's like, Darren, what are you doing here?
Darren, the name of a true serial killer.
I don't remember if that's his name, but it's something like, oh, it's Brandon.
Even better.
Brandon's such a normal name. But she's like, Brandon.
Normal if you're a serial killer.
Brandon, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna kill you.
And he's like, remember that stuff I told you like earlier today? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, you can't tell my parents that. It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good for anyone. And he's like kind of threatening her. And she's like, Brandon, this is really inappropriate that you showed up here so late at night. You need to go home. So he's like, okay, I'll go home. Walks away. Meanwhile, the dad character, who we're being, reintroduced to, is hanging out with the uncle character at a bar. And the dad full on says, like, I think my son's evil. And he's like, everybody's saying that he's turning into a real jerk and maybe he is evil. And the uncle's like, oh, you need to give him a break. Like, he's got hormones. He's going through stuff. Breaking people's hands.
It's normal stuff.
Normal adolescent stuff.
He's looking at pictures of people's innards.
Going through changes.
Normal guy stuff.
Just guy stuff. So the uncle, like, kind of vouches for him. Uncle drives home and the aunt's asleep. She doesn't wake up. And, like, he was, hanging out with the dad, whatever. He goes in to wash his face, and all of a sudden he sees something, like, literally fly behind him. And he shouts super loud. He's like, shit! Like, super loud. Somehow the aunt doesn't wake up. Goes into the closet, and Brandon's in there hiding wearing his, like, Brightburn superhero mask.
He's like...
And he instantly pulls it off his face. He's like, what are you doing in here? Like, you scared the crap out of me. And he's like, don't tell my parents.
Why does he only care about the parents?
I don't know.
Like, he's leaving a body trail. Like, everybody knows he broke the little girl's hand. Like,
he did it in front of people.
Yeah, like, you're not exactly trying to hide any of this.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, and also, like, why are you fearful of your parents? Because later he shows that he's not, like, he doesn't even respect them. Like, he told the aunt, like, when he found out that he was adopted or whatever, he was like, at least I know I'm not from here, like these stupid people. I know I'm better than all of them. So it's like, I don't know if he even values them as people anymore. So the uncle's like, you're lucky if that's the only thing I do to you. Grabs him. Normal reaction. They're walking to the car and the kid's like, you can't tell my parents, you have to promise. And he's like, I'm going to tell your parents. What are you talking about? Get in the car. Goes around. Kid gets out of the car.
Why does he only care about the parents?
I have no idea. This is the only scene where he acts like that.
Like, they're the only ones that are going to... No. Everybody's going to judge you.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why. So then the kid refuses to get in the car and the uncle's like, darn it, Brandon. Gets out and he sees that the kid's like flying and he's like, what the hell? Obviously. He gets freaked out. Kid tries to attack him and he ends up getting in his car and trying to drive away. But the kid picks up his car and flips it over a ravine and kills him. All
right. I'm just going to... Can we back up for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay. You know that TV show, the WB show called Smallville? Okay.
Yes.
This is an episode of Smallville. Like, I love Hollywood that they can't even think past this stuff. This is a standard Smallville villain from the first season because there's one thing you have to suspend disbelief if you watch, let's say, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
Okay.
The one thing you just have to be okay with is that as soon as they're turned into vampires, they know karate. Right? You have to, if you can't make peace with that, then you're going to hate the show, right? Well, the one thing that happens in Smallville, every episode, at least the first couple seasons, was, okay, there were shards of kryptonite, right?
Yeah.
So when the kid crashed, like the kryptonite, weakens him, but what it does is it empowers humans for some reason, right?
That's right.
So it empowers the human, right? It's the same stupid plot, right?
It is.
So this alien rock empowers, and it's seemingly only the kids that go to school with him, right? But none of these kids can think of doing anything good with their newfound powers, right?
Yes.
They all become homicidal murderers, like maniacs. Like all they can think about is like, ooh, I was bullied. I couldn't make the cheerleader team. I'm gonna kill the cheerleaders, right? That's all they could do.
Yes.
And this is Brightburn, right? This is
really,
that movie.
Yeah, it really is. He's a Smallville villain. Draken says he's really bad at covering things up, and he says, I was afraid this movie would be dark postmodernist trash. It's sounding like it's true. Oh, that's Rhaegar. Oh, there, Draken says, there's nothing in the movie that made you connect with any of the characters, so nothing has any emotional impact. Ah, his name is Brand Ryer. That's what it is. Oh, that's the other stupid thing. You just reminded me. He keeps leaving a symbol behind when he kills people.
Like Zorro.
And it's a B and an R. So, Brand Ryer. They knew it was him. He pulled a Hogarth.
He actually wants them to know.
Yeah, so that's why I guess why he wanted people to know he was special. He was like leaving it behind like a serial killer. It's yeah. So he kills
so much for having the element of surprise on your when you get of age and you're able to conquer the world.
Yeah, he was leaving his mark. So he kills the uncle who he was close to, and then like the dad hears about it because they get a call in the night, like the uncle got in a car accident. He's not in good shape. The aunt's distraught, and they're like, they didn't know where the son was. He was missing that night, and he had been missing the night that the other woman went missing. Uh-oh. So he comes home and has blood on his shirt. And the mom's like, where have you been? And he's like, I went to go play soccer. And the dad's like,
at 2:00 in the morning.
And the dad's like, you're playing soccer until now? And he's like, well, I was playing soccer, and then I fell down and I ripped my shirt, and all the boys started laughing at me. So I just walked home.
Oh, Brightburn.
So then the mom's like all sad and consoling him, and the dad's like, he's lying. And the mom's like, how dare you accuse him of lying? So then they go to the hospital. Uncle dies, and the aunt tells them like, did Brand get home all right? And they're like, what do you mean? And she's like, he was at my house. So then they know, oh shit, he was at her house. So the next morning, the kid's eating cereal, which they show a scene where he's eating cereal. The dad witnesses it. He bites the fork, and the fork bends all crazy. Normal hormonal stuff. So he's eating in the morning, and the dad's like, Brand, I gotta tell you something. It's gonna be really hard to hear. And he's like, okay, what is it? And he's like, last night your uncle died. And he goes, okay. And then they're like, Brand, do you understand? Like, your uncle that you loved is dead. And he's just like, yeah, so? Do you want me to cry?
Does he say you want me
He says, do you want me to cry?
Because I will.
And then they're like, what the heck? He's acting weird. So the dad goes, he did something. And the mom's like, no, he didn't. How can you accuse him of that? And he's like, he was missing. He had blood on his clothes. He did something to him. I know that he did. And she's like, it's your fault that the uncle died because you were out drinking with him and you let him drive. And you feel guilty. So you're blaming it on our son.
That sounds feasible.
I would slap her if she said that to me. I'd be like, do you know what I've been through? My best friend just died and you're saying it's my fault? So she's like, I am disgusted by you. And he goes, he's not our son. We found him in the woods. And she's like, I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. And she leaves. So the dad goes and digs to the son's room, finds the tattered shirt with the blood on it, and the son walks in. Oh, I forgot to mention, right after he confronts the son, he goes, he tries to confront him, he goes, you did something to him, didn't you? And the son's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, you did something to him, what did you do? And the son punches the dad and sends him flying across the room. The mom witnesses this, and still says that he's blaming him because he feels guilty. I'd be like, he just threw me across the room.
You know, this isn't even good by WB standards.
No, it's not. So the kid races off, and then the dad goes in the room, finds the shirt, and the son's like, what are you doing, Dad? And he's like, nothing, son.
It's evidence.
I wanted to apologize to you earlier for accusing you.
Is your uncle's blood on this?
So the son's like, yeah, whatever, it's okay. So the dad tells the mom he has a dream that night. A very Zack Snyder-y dream.
The kid does?
The dad does.
Oh, okay.
In the dad's dream, which is portrayed in like a super Zack Snyder-y way, and it's really weird. Also, the dad's a bad actor. I don't know if anybody's seen him in anything. He has a dream that backtells what happens. So it shows like a part of the ship. You can't really see it in the woods. And the wife picks up a baby and she goes, it's a boy. Our prayers have been answered. And then she's holding like the baby. And the baby's like laughing with like obviously stock sounds that they didn't record themselves. Yeah, it's like like that baby laugh you hear and everything. And then the mom turns around and she has blood coming out of her eyes and mouth. And then the dad's like it gets all nightmare-y. The music plays, you know, the music cue, the brrr. And then the dad like pulls the blanket away from the baby and has really bad digital glowing eyes.
So this happened, or he just imagined?
I guess it's just imagining it in his dream, like he's remembering it in a different way.
So there's absolutely no point to this because it didn't really happen.
I mean, I'm sure they found him in the woods, but I don't think that part happened.
Yeah, but we already guessed that that's what happened.
Yeah, there's really no point to it now that you mention it, because it doesn't... A, we know he's evil, and B, we know how he was found.
Yeah, we know the Superman story.
There's no new information gathered from that dream. But he tells the wife, he's like, I'm gonna take our boy hunting and be a dad to him and tell him that I love him and try to help him with this issue. And the mom's like, okay.
You know what has solved all of this? If just one of his friends were a comic book collector and just went, man, this is Superman.
This is a lot like Superman, don't you think?
Just imagine if this was like Little Evil. You know how Little Evil's structured? This would be a totally better movie.
Little Evil's the better of the two.
Because then there would be the one friend that goes, man, this is just like Superman. This kid's Clark Kent. It's like Clark Kent. This kid's more like the Omen kid.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, Durakan said that scene where he said "like now" about the deer implied that he wanted to rape the deer. I did not even catch that until now. You're 100% right. I can't believe I didn't catch that.
Oh.
Rhaegar says, Taylor explains movies should be a regular thing.
It will be now.
So there is not a good guy named Lex Luthor in this? I wish.
It's the deer.
He was the savior. So yeah, the dad takes the son. This is where the movie should have started. Because this is the only interesting thing. I'm like, if the movie started here and was the intro, I'd be on board. So the dad's like, let's go hunting. Takes the kid. And by this point, the kid has also killed all their chickens for no reason. Like, the dad walked in on him in the barn, and the animals are all scared of him. He's like, what are you doing, boy? And he's like, nothing. And then they jump cut to, like, all the chickens are dead. And he's like, oh, what the hell? And he shows the wife. And the wife's like, oh, did a wolf get in here? And he's like, no, Bran did this. Like, a wolf didn't do this. The door is ripped off its hinges. And she's like, no, he didn't do it. So
this is like Little Evil.
Yeah, it is like Little Evil, because the mom just keeps being like, no, he's wonderful. So
what was it where there was red room like on the walls of the kids' room? He's so creative.
Yeah, you guys just watch Little Evil. It's the better version of this movie. So the dad's like, taking the kid out hunting. So they show him tracking deer with the son. And then the mom, like, while she's hanging out at home doing the mom thing, she always is just, like, painting. And she's always painting this really bad painting of a cow. I don't know why. It's like a cow with flowers on its head. And she's working on the same painting throughout the whole movie. The police come by. And the policeman is like, is it okay if I come in and look through your son's room? Because we have reason to believe that he has something to do with this woman's disappearance. Like, oh, I guess the daughter did report it then. And she's like, no, you can't come in here. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to get a warrant. Is he here? Can I speak to him? And she's like, no, he's not. So then now she's getting, like, paranoid. So she goes and snoops in the kid's room, finds that he's drawn this symbol that's, like, on the ship, like, all over the place.
You mean hope?
Oh, it's not hope. It's murder. On my planet.
It's an S. It wanders like a river.
Oh, yeah, he does the little gesture.
From Justice League.
I forgot about that. Is it a river or is it hope? Like,
is it hope?
So she looks and finds his journal where he's been, like, drawing the symbol, and he's also been drawing, like, the murders he's been committing.
So strangely, he's leaving all kinds of evidence.
Yeah, and like a serial killer. Like, there's a drawing of, like, the one mom getting, like, horribly murdered, and then, like, a drawing of the uncle dead.
See, this isn't even clever writing. Like, they don't even really find out.
No, like, what detective work? You opened it and it says, I did it.
Right, there's no evidence. There's no math here.
Oh my gosh, he did do it.
He did do it. You know what would have been a better movie? Is if it was like Sixth Sense, like you didn't know.
Ooh.
Like you actually did set up all kinds of like misdirects and that you really didn't think it could be the kid.
Maybe he seems like Superman. Maybe he seems like a good kid.
Right, and then, no.
Actually, Art, I think you just pitched a way better movie. I would see that movie.
Wait a minute, it was Clark?
Because that would be a more interesting take, like, the perfect person, seemingly, is actually super evil. But, like, she sees him and she's just like, oh my god! Runs to the barn to go to the ship, right? And she finds the dead body of the woman in there.
In the ship?
In the, like, by the ship, yeah, and, like, the symbols written all around the ship, and she's like, oh my god, he did it. So she tries to call the husband. The husband's out hunting.
He's buried in the backyard from
and
little Damien.
He's having the kid look at tracks, and the kid's like, I think there were 2 deer here. And then you see the dad is, like, loading up the shotgun, like he's gonna shoot the kid in the back of the head and kill him.
On the water slide.
Here's the thing. Way before this, the dad said, he's never broken a bone. He's never been hurt by anything. So I don't know why he thinks this is going to work. So...
Well, it's going to piss him off. That's for sure, the kid.
And that's what happened. He shoots him. The kid, like, is shocked and appalled that his father just tried to shoot him. So now he's, like, really crazy because, you know, he just got betrayed by his dad. So now he doesn't trust anybody. He's
whom he loves.
Yeah. It seems like he might love him. I can't really tell because he did hit him. He does seem indifferent to him. At the beginning of the movie, it seemed like he really loved him, but after he gets his, like, magic seizure, then he was all different. So the dad's like, oh crap, tries to run from him. The kid flies away and he's like, oh no, I just made things way worse. Tries to run away and, like, the kid flies back wearing his mask. I don't know if he already had it with him. The mask is a major issue in the movie because they never establish him taking the mask with him anywhere. He always just has it. The mask is a bad design. And there's a point in the movie, because the uncle, like, pulls the mask off his head, and he says, what are you doing wearing this creepy thing? And he goes, it's not creepy. Why are you wearing it if you don't intend it to be creepy? Like, isn't that usually, like, it's not like a domino mask. It's like it looks like it's made to be scary looking. But I digress. So he shows up and the dad's like, Bren, don't hurt me.
Okay.
Begs for his life. And then the kid lasers him to death. And for some reason it takes a really long time. So it's really funny because the dad's like, ah! Getting lasered by the kid's eyes. Like, it goes on way too long. And the mom's calling him. And, like, he's not picking up. And then all of a sudden he picks up and she's like, honey, you were right. Brand's killing everybody. He's crazy. We gotta do something. And he goes, "It's me, Mom." She's like, "Bran?" And she's like, "Where's Dad?" And he goes, "I think you know where he is." And then she starts hysterically crying because she knows that he murdered the dad, I guess.
And she knows she's next.
Yeah, she does. So then she calls the police and is like, "Help."
What are they going to do?
The police show up.
Now we get to increase the body count.
Yeah, and the poor police were like doing their best. Like, they didn't know what was going on. Like, they're not equipped for this. The one chick is like a rookie, and they cast this really like cute, like, young-faced girl. I'm like, great, now I have to see her die. And like, she shows up, the deputy guy shows up, the guy that was like investigating the whole thing. And as soon as he shows up, he gets instantly killed by Brand. Like, he just gets swept up. Like, you don't even see him die. So then the deputy's like, "Whoa, what the heck?" And like has her gun. She's like, "We need backup, we need backup." The mom's like screaming and crying. The deputy's trying to keep her safe from something she doesn't even understand. She has her gun out. She's just like looking in the air like, "Get back, get back." She tells the mom like, "Keep your head down, keep your head down." I'm like, you don't not even know what you're dealing with. Like, why did she get you involved? So then this deputy's calling for backup. And keep in mind, like, this is leaving like a trail. Like, she's telling like them that something's happening. Brand kills her horrifically. And then the mom realizes the only thing that can hurt him is the spaceship. Because that was the only thing that cut his skin. So she tries to...
Wait a minute, she survives? No.
No, she doesn't.
I want Mom dying too.
She should... I want her to die in the beginning when she was, like, defending him.
That's the only thing I've been passionate about this whole time is I want Mom dying too. For not believing that her son could be a horrible human.
Yeah.
Or alien.
Yeah. So she's like running, tries to run to the barn. He's chasing her around. And then when she gets in there, she gets a piece of the ship, and he shows up, and he's like, she sees him in his mask, and she's like, "Oh, Brand." And then she walks up to him and pulls his mask off him, and he looks all sad because his dad tried to kill him just because he was an insane murderer and killed innocent people. So she like looks at his face all like lovingly, and she goes to hug him, but then she tries to stab him with which like I was like, maybe buy her time a little bit, but she goes to try to stab him with a piece of the ship, and he catches her arm, and now he sees that both of his parents have attempted to kill him. So now he's really like crazy and mad. So he grabs her, and then he just starts flying into the air. Like, she drops the piece, and he just zooms up into the air. And she's like, "Oh, no." And then she's just like, it's a point of view shot from her point of view, just like watching his face as they like ascend into like the dark sky. Which...
What, she just suffocate? What happens?
He drops her.
Oh, he drops her.
He flies all the way up, and she's like looking at him, and then she like Han Solo touches his face. And then he drops her. And there's a really cool point of view shot where I'm like, this would be a good like Zod moment in like a Superman movie. Where it's just like from her point of view, like her falling out of the sky and just seeing like his ominous figure like hanging in the air in like the dark. And I was like, that's a cool bad guy beat, I guess, if this was a good movie. And then he sees an airplane approaching. And then it jump cuts and the news is there. I don't think the news, I think it's the ambulance is there. And they're like, "Wow, this little boy is the only one who survived this plane crashing into the house." So I guess he made the plane crash into the house to cover his tracks. So they're like, he's the only survivor. Like, this is pretty crazy. And then it just shows this dumb actor with his goofy face eating cookies, the blanket on him, sitting in the ambulance. And then it just ends and says Brightburn. It was pretty bad.
It's just like a pretty standard WB Smallville episode.
Yeah.
There's no real twist. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. How do these things get greenlit?
I don't even know who put it out, now that you mention it. Because, yeah, it's pretty much an extended, long-form Smallville episode without Clark there to save the day. Is what it really comes down to. Draken says, he let the police station alone, which means the police station knows what happened. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking at the end. I was like, well, are they going to follow this up? Because, like, they know the police were killed before the plane crash and that there was a call of a woman screaming.
Hey, Taylor.
What is it?
You should have saw Godzilla.
Everybody keeps saying Godzilla was good.
I think you chose unwisely.
I chose what I could download for free. And that was my only... I was like, I guess I'll watch this. Although I could have watched John Wick.
John Wick 3?
Yeah.
Ah.
Should have picked that. That says a lot about my personality that I thought I deserved Brightburn. So yeah, Godzilla was great, says Eric Huffles.
I heard there's like some cool, there's some cool little things that they built into it, and it looks like sequel territory is going to be pretty cool for the Zilla.
And Mothra's in it, I think. I don't know. I heard good things.
So there you go. There you guys go. Brightburn.
The summary.
The summary. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So guess what? If you hated Brightburn, you're gonna love Black and White.
Wait a minute. Let's not even use the same.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
The same sentence.
It's not fair.
It's not fair to us.
Live action Aladdin would have been a worse option, says Draken.
Girl power, yo.
I don't even know what to say about it.
Apparently no man is going to keep her down.
We won't be silenced. I think that got some clickbait on the last video. I think the title was "We Won't Be Silenced" or something.
Yeah.
My
Poor Jasmine. You know, because that's what I was thinking when I watched the original cartoon. I was thinking, you know what? Jasmine has just been shat upon.
Stupid rich girl.
I was like, I want to be Jasmine. She had a tiger and everything.
I know. For being, there's a lot of freedoms I would trade to have a tiger.
And all your whims taken care of.
Yeah, like I don't know, it shouldn't have it that bad. Let's see.
And let's back up, okay? If she was to marry one of those gentlemen, she'd still be rich.
Yeah, she would. And there's no telling that she wouldn't have liked them either.
It's not like she was just gonna marry like some schmuck that can't find his ass with both hands.
Her worst case scenario wasn't that worst case.
Was like maybe the upper 5 people in an entire civilization.
And she had multiple to choose from.
Right, it wasn't just one.
Like, she wasn't like, oh, I have to marry this one guy that I hate and there's no options. Like, she had, her choice of suitors. That's more than most people.
And every one of those were going to end in, great success.
Yeah.
So you don't love the guy. So what?
You can grow to love them.
You know what, to be honest,
maybe.
I don't think she even loved Aladdin.
Whoa.
I saw that movie.
That's an extreme point of view on it.
I saw her looking the other way. She wasn't making, total eye contact.
Well, he was a street rat.
She had a little bit of contempt.
She's going to hold that against him. Or wouldn't he hold it against her? Because, he's going to get mad at her being so out of touch with his struggle. Because, imagine being married to her and she's like, I had such a hard life. And you're like, I was an orphan on the streets. And you're going to complain about having a hard life.
At least your dad tried to sell you off to a good suitor.
I was stealing bread.
I had to befriend a monkey.
Hey, that's an honor.
That monkey was cool, though.
That's probably the best part of the movie. I do kind of want to see it.
I want an Abu.
Aww.
That's all I know.
Do you really want a pet monkey?
I would rather Abu than a genie, to be honest. Especially that genie.
Ooh.
That genie was obnoxious.
I mean...
Robin Williams.
Yeah, he was a little entitled. Also, he had the audacity to guess his wishes. How about you leave that to me? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen Aladdin.
Well, let's see. Her options were marry some rich guy. That's the upper probably, 2%, maybe less in that whole part of the world. Or you could hook up with a guy that has 3 wishes and can have anything his heart desires. I don't know. There's not a lot of. I don't know. What's her plight?
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't have much of a struggle, does she?
Yeah, both decisions sound pretty darn good.
Don't get on me when you own a tiger.
So her dad's a little goofy.
And he didn't seem like he was unkind.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he didn't like her.
Like, he didn't seem like... She wasn't married yet, so it's not like he was, like, really forcing her that hard.
That would have been awesome if there's just a scene where the dad's just crying. He's just distraught still over the loss of his wife.
Aww.
And then Jasmine's she's just like, you know, they were betrothed. And he still misses her. Maybe you can learn to love.
Aww.
And then she marries Jafar.
And they're happily ever after.
And then it turns out Jafar is the best father. The best husband you could ever have.
Yeah, like, we don't know. We don't know what the future could have held.
That would be awesome, though. And Lad's just scratching his head. What?
Sometimes it works out. Maybe you should give him a chance.
And then Aladdin turns into the bad guy, starts raising the dead. And...
Well, what if Jafar, like, actually, like, was more socially conscious? Like, he wanted to rule. Maybe he would have made, like, a better sultan.
If he just didn't look so evil. What if they drew him as, like, a good-looking guy?
Then it would be all different. I've seen people draw him like an anime-style good-looking guy a couple times.
That'd be awesome.
It would change the story because he'd be like, kind of, you know, there would actually be some debate, I guess.
Then all of a sudden he'd be the villain in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, you're right. They couldn't. I didn't even think about.
No, they could.
I mean,
it wasn't like Disney hasn't done the same thing before. There's a character named Pocahontas and Moana.
Yeah, they're the same character.
I don't know. Those seem like the same movie to me.
And she's still just Ariel in reverse. By the way, Ari, did you ever see the... I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know if you care about Wreck-It Ralph, but did you ever see the latest Wreck-It Ralph movie?
No, I kind of liked the first, but I wasn't crazy about it.
The kid ditches Ralph at the end. Like, she finds a cooler friend and just leaves him behind.
The...
Vanellope?
Little obnoxious girl?
Yeah, like, she finds some, like, cool hot chick that's in, like, a online video game and decides to ditch Ralph to go hang out with her and her cooler friends.
And that's how it ends?
Yeah, like, it ends with him letting her go.
Wow.
It's kind of messed up. I'm not sure what the message is. Because, like, they tried to make it seem like he was kind of her parent, but not really. They were more her friends. So it's like, is the message that if your friends grow out of you, you should let them go? I don't know what the message was.
The moral is, video games will rot your brain.
That's true. I'm glad I can't afford them anymore. It was really weird. It was bad. It was a bad movie.
Well, I don't know. I don't know where Disney's headed.
Somebody drew a parallel that was interesting where they had the whole princess group, which was the only interesting part of the movie, where they're like, can you sing? Do you like befriend animals? Trying to test Vanellope to see if she's a princess. And they were like, does everybody think a man solved your problems for you? And she's like, yeah. And they're like, then you're a princess. And someone made one with the princes where it was like, did you ever die for a girl? So like all the different characters, they all like die. And it's like, and they still accuse you of like solving all their problems and resenting you for it. Like, yeah, he's definitely a prince. It's like, look, Disney, you can't play that game. We're on to you. Also, don't villainize your princes. They're great people.
Why does everything have to be at the cost of some other character? Like, why does it have to be that way? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just show, like, two characters that maybe have completely different points of view, but that have mutual respect and work towards a common goal? Like, you know, you don't have to you don't have to have the two characters at odds.
No.
The two main good characters.
And they always have to force, like, the reasoning. It never quite works. The worst is probably that Zootopia movie. Like, they just randomly have, like, they start fighting midway through the movie. But, you know, let's see. Rhaegar says, I think Disney will be alright, despite all the work for virtue signaling and bad writing right now. Disney knows cash is king. In the end.
So you think they'll right the ship when it starts costing them money?
I mean, probably.
Well, I thought about this. Actually, what? I thought maybe I had a conversation with my wife, but I think it was something else. But did you think about, you know, when they did Galaxy's Edge, the ceremony, they didn't have any of the new Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
They didn't have, like, the actress that played Rey or Poe.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
Any of those characters. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Do you think... That's really strange.
I wonder what people in the chat think, because I don't really know. You know, I don't really have an opinion. I just thought it was kind of odd that it seems like if you wanted this diversity and you wanted this old and new, it would have been neat to see the old cast up there with the new cast.
That's an interesting observation. I didn't even think about that.
And I was thinking that maybe the Florida one will have those two guys, you know, the new cast maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? That's an interesting observation. I don't know if it's motivated by nostalgia, like that they know that those new characters don't have the same kind of pull as the old ones. They're not as iconic yet. But like you said, they could have just included both of them. They didn't have to just have, you know, just Harrison Ford and everything.
Yeah,
they
it doesn't have to be an either or, yeah.
And it seems weird, unless they're thinking, Rhaegar says, that's very telling.
Well, I don't know. Like, it seems like it is, but you know what I mean? Like, it seems like the fingers point in one direction. Like, well, do they just not have any faith? But the thing is, those characters like Rey and I thought there was
Finn?
No, Kylo Ren.
Oh, right.
Are in some of the attractions.
Yeah, because they showed Kylo at the park.
Yeah. So I don't really know what the logic is there.
Let's see. That's telling Poe was the Poe. Oh no, you guys are thinking of. We were thinking of Kylo that was already at the park. It is really weird. Unless they're thinking of after this trilogy is over, they're gonna just full on phase those actors out. So it's not. I don't know. I really don't.
But they're built into some of the attractions, though.
Yeah, and they're really marketing them. What does it mean, you guys?
I don't know. But Bob Iger is starting to shoot his mouth off quite a bit, so I don't know how I feel about all that.
I'm just done with Hollywood, like, thinking they have to chime in on absolutely everything.
Yeah, just, you know what you guys do? You make movies. Like, you're not like politicians. You're not, you just make movies. Just make good movies and shut the hell up.
Shut up and keep pretending you're a cowboy. That's what you're good at.
Yeah. No, we're going to set morality.
Like, does anybody even care? Like, there are actors that I actually like, and I don't even care about their opinions on those things.
Yeah, I don't care what any actor thinks about anything.
Like, I'd like to hear them promoting their movie and hear them talk about that stuff, but I don't hold any of them in that kind of regard where it's like, what do they think about? Are they a Democrat?
I hope they're Republican. I don't want to hate them.
What do they think about Bill 20? I don't know. Like, who cares? Like you said, they're just like about entertainment. Like, what is the relationship we really have with these people?
there is none. So why should we care?
Yeah.
Every time I go and I get my haircut, I see all those magazines, and as much as I want to think no one really gives a crap, and yet you see all those magazine headlines and you're like, wow, people apparently do care about the Jenners and the Kardashians.
Yeah, I mean, they're making money somewhere, right?
They're on the cover of all these magazines, and they're having people write about their lives and stuff like that. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. It is really weird. I don't think like any of those things should be telling people like they should let people make decisions for themselves and not try to push any kind of like agendas politically.
Yeah, just entertain us.
Entertainment's supposed to be neutral anyway.
Well, for it to be universal, yeah, I think you can make a movie that has a political agenda, but I don't think all your movies should have a political agenda, and I don't think like your superhero movies or your Star Wars movies should, because to be honest, those are kid films. Like, how shame on you. Like, what kind of a-hole are you trying to indoctrinate like little kids or young people into your stupid political agendas by using, child entertainment?
Yeah.
It's pretty horrible. Or when Disney, like with Zootopia and stuff, when they start trying to make things, a bigger message or whatever. No, leave our children alone. Like, I mean, good moral tales, good versus evil, whatever. Yeah, but all this other nonsense, just leave them alone. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we don't have to go very deep in these like.
And the thing is, if you want to know where the line is, if people are divided with whatever you want to do, like if you go, oh, I want to make it about this, that, or the other thing, and the group of people are divided about it, that's your answer. You shouldn't do it. You should try to reach the biggest clientele you can. You want to reach the biggest market you can to have your product succeed. And also by doing that, I think it will keep you on the straight and narrow, because you're not going to be, making these agenda films.
Yeah, I agree.
Just movies that should be, harmless, good, clean fun, and you're trying to indoctrinate a bunch of children into, in the future, thinking the way you want them to.
Mark Flannel says they want no area of life to be non-political. That way you have no way to escape propaganda.
Yeah, I remember. I really despise this guy Zack Snyder, and he was talking about like the reason he's doing his Superman film the way he did. He was saying that everything's propaganda, everything is political. All these things he was saying, and I was thinking, well, if you make a film that has that mindset, then aren't you just reinforcing that belief onto people?
Yeah.
Like, if you're saying it like it's a bad thing, which he seemed like he was, then you just go, well, I'm not going to make the film about that, because Superman shouldn't be about that anyway. They say on one hand it's about hope, but then, they turn around the entire movie, if you watch it, has nothing to do with that at all. It's a pretty beat down, adventure. And so I just think, just don't do it. You know what I mean? Just make a fantasy. Just make a movie that doesn't have anything to do with that. And then you go, oh, this was his thing, Taylor. He was like, it wouldn't be realistic. It wouldn't be realistic. Jackass, pardon my French, frickin' Superman isn't realistic. This guy can fly. He can do all these things. The thing is, as soon as you try to we talk about it all the time here, Taylor and I, you try to bring too much realism to these comic book ideas, these superheroes, they don't hold up under scrutiny. They do not.
Yeah.
These are idealized characters in idealized black and white scenarios. They work in those confines. They do not work in real life. And also, do you want to see them dealing with real life stuff? I don't want to. It takes the fun out of things.
Yeah, once you start doing that, it brings up some really unfun questions.
Yeah, I think as far as you could probably push the realism in a film, and it does kind of work with this character, was Civil War. I'm not Civil War, but what was Winter Soldier?
Yeah, that was good.
Because they turned it into a political thriller. It wasn't really political, but like that type of film, and they used that as a model, and they built the film around that, like the Manchurian Candidate kind of ideas, and it kind of worked. But you have to be really careful because you can't. They were still dealing with like, aircraft carriers that were flying in the air. And, you know what I mean? Like they were still dealing with some pretty far-fetched stuff, and so then that kind of reminds you that it's fun, and it didn't get too deep into it, so it worked. But that's about as far as I think you can get into it.
I agree. I think if they would have gone any more serious, like it was already, it was a very good movie, and I really enjoy that. As far as like, it's probably one of the better Marvel movies, I think. But yeah, I think like if it didn't have those more cartoony, comic-y elements to it, it really would have been kind of a heavy movie.
It becomes too heady, and yeah, I just think that stuff doesn't really hold up under any kind of scrutiny. So I don't think you have to make fun of it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like
snarky.
At the expense of the hero, or be too self-aware. But just keep it kind of superficial fun. Just keep it about that, and it will work. And also, who are you making these films for? Like, if there's adults getting too crazy about it, then I think they're missing the point too. Like, I think most adults that are into comic books are adults that still like childlike entertainment.
Oh, definitely. I can say for myself that I am.
Yeah, I'm a big kid. I'm a grown-up kid. I'm responsible. I pay my bills. I make sure my family's taken care of and all those other things. But I'm a big kid. I remember somebody giving me crap. They were like, you know what? You act like a child. You seem like a kid. You're kid-like. And I go, yeah, I draw comic books. What else would you expect from me?
How mature do I need to be?
I pay my taxes. I take care of my family. What else? You know what I mean? I'm an adult. I have one foot in reality, one foot in fantasy.
I think that's all you need. As long as you're functional.
Yeah. I think I'm fairly functional.
I think you're very functional.
I've done okay. But yeah, I just think, like, come on, man. Let's not put these superhero stuff, these things, under any kind of real scrutiny. I just don't think they hold up. And if you do, then you have a Watchmen, because Watchmen is a very dour, very sad kind of take on superheroes. And basically, the whole Watchmen, what you take away from Watchmen is like, this is utterly ridiculous. Superheroes are stupid. Like, that's what really comes from that movie, is that this is all pointless. It's a joke, right? The comedian even said it.
Yeah.
This is all a joke. You guys don't understand. But the thing is, also Alan Moore didn't show the altruistic side. He didn't show the people that were being saved. He chose to show it from a very snarky, dark, cynical point of view. So then all you see is how pointless it is, right? It's pointless. Well, what about that person they saved at the bodega that, was going to get shot by that robber, and then got to go home to his wife and kids that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about that guy that the night owl saved from, that robbery? What about those things? Those don't matter. The only things that really matter is big nuclear,
grand scale stuff.
Right, grand scale stuff. Well, people still have to live in the real world. They still, you know what I mean? Like, the way he set it up is that it was inevitable that this bomb was going to get dropped and that all society was going to die. You know what I mean? But that's also a construct. That's not necessarily truth or fact. It just is the construct that he chose to tell for the movie. So, even Watchmen isn't that realistic. It's like, it's still a fantasy of what maybe realism would be like if it was told in a superhero universe.
Yeah, I think that's true.
But it's not necessarily exactly how it would go.
No, because that would be boring. There needs to be some level of things being heightened, I feel like, for these stories to be that interesting.
Yeah, and if you took the nuclear backdrop out of the Watchmen, like there wasn't going to be like a bomb dropped and everybody was going to die, then what would matter? You know what I mean? What would be the big thing to be saved from?
Yeah, because that was like the biggest thing.
Would then the day-to-day stuff matter?
Mark Flannel brings up something interesting. He says, Watchmen equals deconstruction without enough reconstruction.
Yeah, there's no reconstruction at all.
That's a good way to put it.
And I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it at all, but I do think there are people that kind of worship that book, and they think that it's like how comics should be made, or how comic books should be. And I disagree. I think it was a good experiment. It was a fun experiment for 12 issues, but I don't think, other than that, I don't think we should emulate it or try to aspire to it.
I agree. We talked about it before too, how there's multiple people who are like, that should be everybody's first book they read. And
that would be horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work.
Like, if you're thinking like this is the first book, to find out what comic books are about, and somebody reads that, I don't think they'd ever want to read a comic book again.
Yeah. I don't think if that was somebody's introduction to superheroes in general, they'd be like, ew, this is what superhero books are like.
This is pretty depressing.
Brace yourself, you're probably going to hear a bleep as I plug in this USB.
Uh-oh.
If I can fit it in here.
Not as quiet, I can hear my chair rocking. If the chairs are rocking, don't come knocking.
Too scared to plug this in. I might abandon this effort. Nope, I got it. Success.
Since I hooked up the sound system and it's all around the room, I heard the little thing over here on my left side. I was like, "What? What was that?"
And surround sound.
It's in surround sound. That's scary.
That's funny. That's what happened for my first con. If it wasn't for title, I think you got cut off. Rhaegar says, I literally never ever heard of Watchmen until the movie came out, and the press was calling it so great. I've been reading comics basically since I was 6 in the late 80s.
Well, how did you feel about the Watchmen then when you eventually either saw the movie or read the book?
Yeah, I don't think I've talked to anybody who's seen the movie without having read the book. I don't know how one would feel about that.
Well, I would think if you've never read a comic book before, then when you deconstruct a comic book superhero, what would be the point? Because you would have no point of reference to even think that it was being deconstructed. You would just take it at face value.
Yeah, it would just be a superhero story.
Yeah, this is how superhero comics are.
Let's see. Most people can have a political discussion without freaking out, says Sketch. Yeah, most reasonable people can. But not all. Have you had a reasonable political discussion in a while?
I do with most of the CGers. It seems like that's why I'm here. There's a lot of fairly level-headed people. You and I talk.
Yeah, that's true.
My family talks. I don't know. At this point in my life, most of the people in my life pretty much know me and I know them. You know what I mean? So we kind of know the parameters and the boundaries. And to be honest, most of us are like-minded. We might have a little bit of differences, on certain things, but pretty much it's all kind of an agreed upon kind of way of looking at things.
Yeah, just kind of reasonable. I think in the online spectrum or in social media, it's a kind of a weird zone for people politically. Just because you don't know if you're going to get, no matter what you mention, even if it's not something extreme, you never know who's going to flip out.
Yeah. No flipping out.
Art Rich Studio says, I've been thinking about starting my own comic and funding it through Indiegogo, but I don't know if anyone would fund a comic that's not about superheroes by an unknown. What do you think about that, Art?
This is how I feel about everything that's creative or created. If it's good, it won't matter. If it's really, really well done, it could be a war comic. It could be, a cartoon type comic, humor, action adventure, western, superhero, sci-fi. It could be any of those things. And I think if it's well done, people will latch onto it. They'll be okay with it.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think quality always will override anything. I remember I read a quote from Jack Kirby, and I guess they were it was like in Rolling Stone or one of these
really?
Yeah, magazines, like young kid rock magazines or something. This was a long time ago, but it always stuck with me. They were like, how do you feel about this guy, like they were, because he was an older guy even then, and they're trying to get him all tripped up, like how do you feel about the music today?
See if the old man's out of touch.
And then he's like, well, you know what? He goes, I can like anything as long as it's well done. He said, I can appreciate country western. I can appreciate rock. I can appreciate classic music. I can appreciate all kinds of different artwork as long as it's well done.
That's a very reasonable response.
And it has quality, attached to it. And I thought, yeah, like why as a human being would you just go just this one thing or just this other? Why put those parameters on yourself? Because you might not, you might listen to, like, say, oh, I hate country western or just country music, and then hear a song and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that is a really good song.
Yeah, why limit yourself?
And then what, do you have to hate it because you've always said you hate that kind of music? Is that you have to double down on something just because you said you hated it before?
Yeah, like, oh, it's too bad I don't like country music.
Yeah. Well, it's like they say, like about like ABBA or about the Bee Gees. They say, oh man, I hate those guys, and yet they've sold billions of albums. So if everybody hates these guys, then how come they sell so many albums?
Somebody's not being honest about liking the Bee Gees.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a pretty valid argument. I think that like when you're younger, I don't know why you do it, but like, I shouldn't say you, at least I did it when I was younger, where you're just like, no, I'm too cool to like insert thing. Like, you kind of like limit yourself, and I don't know why people do that. I guess like you're afraid of getting into certain things because it's not cool.
Or your peer group.
They'll mock you. Because I remember being like that about music when I was younger, being like, I'm not gonna listen to that. Like, I only listen to insert stupid genres from the 90s.
Well, the weird thing too is when you're young and you're going like, I only listen to cool music, like I only listen to Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and whatever, and then you go, yeah, but those guys in the big spectrum, they were still like indie, like they weren't getting airplay on the radio, they weren't selling billions of albums, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, in comparison, like if you took like Judas Priest against like Casey and the Sunshine Band, you know what I mean? Like those guys are like billions, and you're selling like thousands.
They weren't even considered cool.
Right, but they weren't considered cool exactly by you and your peer group. But in the big scheme of things, you know what is cool? You know, it's like whatever you and your peer group think are cool.
That reminds me, I still remember this when I was in I think I was in junior high. There was this one girl at the school that was like, she was weirdly mature for her age and just kind of unanimously thought of as being cool because she had like studied abroad and stuff. She's, you know, good looking kid, very cool. Her name was Molly, shout out. And I remember like my one friend was arguing with her about something and like she tried to like, I guess, dox her cool points by being like, yeah, well, you listen to Celine Dion. And she's like, Celine Dion is a great voice. Exactly. And suddenly Celine Dion was cool. I was like, you know what? She's right.
Yeah. Well, it's like we talk about it. Like you know, remember when you were a kid and they'd go, like, they'd say stuff like, hey, 4 eyes, you know, because you wore glasses. Yeah. And then it's supposed to hurt your feelings. And then you're just like, yeah, I wear glasses. You pointed out a fact. You know, oh, hey, shorty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm short. Einstein, like,
and then it's like, you guys are stupid.
Yeah, you guys are just dumb, like, because that's exactly what I am. What, are you a girl?
No. I know, it's funny. Rhaegar says, a lot of country music is super pro-America and a lot of good things like family and faith, but it's just not my jam.
Yeah, but I can appreciate that, you know, like the musicianship, or, you know, some of the chord structures or the stage presence. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into stuff, you know, that I can respect and I can find, like, entertaining. But it's just, yeah, it's not my thing. But there might be a country song that at some point comes on and I'm like, wow, that's my favorite song of all time now.
Yeah. Like, don't shut it off. You don't know.
You don't know.
Where it could lead.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Eric says, watching Art Inc., I realized one of my problems with inking. I'm going too fast. I think I need to slow down.
I can ink faster than this, you guys. I'm actually trying to be entertaining at work.
He's a pro of 35 years.
Yeah, if I ink this slow for everything, I probably wouldn't make a living.
Mark says, wouldn't having twice the number of eyes be an advantage?
Yeah, that's the way I think.
Eric says, I listened to country when I was a kid because I hated the current alternative rock that was out. Plus, I was a redneck. No shame. And Sketch Therapy says, all my exes live in Texas.
I like well, until if you grew up in Southern California, the Eagles were played, like in the 70s, the Eagles were played on the radio constantly. So I would never say I dislike the Eagles, but my gosh, I don't really want to hear an Eagles song ever again. I've heard them all a billion times.
Not even Hotel California?
Especially Hotel California. And that's kind of country rock, right?
My mom snapped at me when we were on that road trip because I didn't realize that I guess I was playing my headphones really loud with Hotel California so everybody could hear it and I didn't know. And I kept rewinding it back to like that part. I don't know why. I think I was just trying to analyze it and she just like grabbed my phone and I was like, that's enough! Like, I can't handle this anymore.
That solo does get very repetitious though.
And she's like, I can't, how long is this?
It's got like some kind of reggae backbeat. It's an interesting song. Because he even sings it kind of like Bob Marley, like, on the dark desert highway.
He does.
Was it
Cool
moonlight?
wind in my
Cool
hair.
wind in my hair. Dum, tiki, dum.
The smell of... He says something, but it always sounds like he's saying the smell of carnitas rising up through the air. I know it's not what it is, but...
Yeah, it is. Look it up.
The smell of carnitas.
What does he say there?
The smell of... I don't know. Does anybody know?
The smell of failure.
Sketch Therapy wants you to sing Achy Breaky Heart.
Don't break my heart. My achy breaky heart.
Rhaegar says, thanks, Art. I can't stand that song. Or Stairway to Heaven. I've heard it enough.
I know! I'm done!
If you've been in California, especially.
If I have to listen to one more Linda Ronstadt song.
Yeah, we have fun here.
It's not because they're bad songs. It's just because I've heard them way too much. I have personal feelings about Led Zeppelin too.
Really?
But I won't voice them.
Next time.
Next conversation.
I want to show you this page because I think I finished these panels.
Can we show the world?
Should I?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay, I'll wait then.
I feel bad because you kind of got excited.
Should I? Oh no.
No. Oh,
Never mind.
darn. Just know, you guys, it looks awesome.
Thanks. How about that explosion? That robot is going flying into the air. My favorite one is the one that has his hand up because he's like, ah! I hope we're not giving away too many spoilers by doing these things, but I don't think we have.
There's no real context, so I don't know. If you're able to piece a story together by these moments, then
Yeah, you would have to be very invested. Let's see. Have you heard the song called Californication in California?
oh yeah, the Chili Peppers is kind of, they're more Northern California, right? But
Yeah.
they get played a lot here, and I think they're kind of considered like a SoCal band.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think of them as being, but I don't think they're originally from SoCal. Like you said, I think.
Well, I don't know, that Under the Bridge song always screws me up because I always think like they're more San Francisco than, but they really. You read his book, right?
I did. It's great.
They were like little Hollywood juveniles, right? They were like.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he moved out here when he was really young and hooked up with Flea.
But they were Hollywood kids, right?
Yeah, they were, because Anthony's dad was a method actor trying to make it Hollywood, and Anthony moved out there to live with his dad at the time and stayed, became a little, Hollywood boy. Rhaegar says, arts and popular opinion should be a thing. First episode, Led Zeppelin.
Ooh. I have thoughts.
I love the song, but I haven't been beat over the head with it like the Eagles, like you guys.
Yeah, there's certain songs that you don't need to hear again. Like, well, this is how old I am. What is that, My Sharona song?
Oh my gosh. My. Woo!
And you know what else? I'm sorry, you guys. I don't ever need to see or hear another Weird Al song.
What?
Yes, I said it.
Even after the drive-through song?
What's the drive-through song?
That's funny. It's the one where he sings about him and his wife needing to go get dinner, and they forgot to give them, they forgot to put something on his burger at the end. It's the one where they're debating where to go to eat first. At one point, he's just like...
Oh, I know. So, yeah.
There's no lyrical scheme anymore. He's just like, okay, well, where do you want to go then?
Yeah, it starts off back and forth like, where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go?
And at first it has a good lyrical scheme, but then it just starts going into a conversational argument.
No, I don't need to hear that again.
But it's so funny. Colitas means pot in the song, says Triple Blindside. Oh, it's Colitas?
Well, now you know it's a drug song.
Oh, that sounds about right. Sketch Therapy says, Devo's Whip It.
Oh my gosh. Whip it good.
Ding, 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 ding. There's a lot of parallels between that and My Sharona, actually.
There's actually an extended version of My Sharona. Do we need that?
Yes.
Remember when everybody, what was it, in the 80s or 90s when they were like, the extended dance mix?
Oh my gosh. Remember Mambo number 5 in the early 2000s?
Geez.
Got like a long dance mix.
They're already like really obnoxious songs, and then they just play the hook over and over again without lyrics.
Because that's what the kids like.
Or they'll just do like they'll have like some kind of sound effect. It was dubstep before dubstep.
They really do.
What was that guy? Oh my gosh, the Beastie Boys guy, the producer, Rick Rubin. He would just kind of extend things, whether they have some kind of sound effect, or like some kind of church bells.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think of any of them.
I'm trying to think of a song in particular. But they would only be in the extended dance version. They wouldn't be in the actual radio version.
Do they have to loop the voices to try to make them make any sense?
Well, usually they would just they'd be instrumental parts with just some kind of weird sound effect, or there'd be scratching. There'd be like chicka 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 wheel, chicka wheel.
Oh,
chicka
you're
wheel.
right.
And then there'd be bam bam chicka chicka wheel. Bam. You know, while the Hotel California riff was in the background. Chicka chicka wheel.
Someone needs to cut that and loop it and make a video for us. Sketch Therapy says, come on, Art. If Weird Al doesn't tell the kings and queens of Hollywood that they have no clothes, they're tacky. Who will?
That's true. I just want to hear new music. I just don't want to hear any of his, just the stuff I've heard a million times.
I remember on K-Rock, they were reading Bean's like dumb tweets, and one of them is like, every time I go on a plane, I secretly hope I'm going to be seated next to Weird Al. That is my dream. And someone was like, well, I'll tell you whose dream that isn't. Weird Al's dream.
K-Rock used to be cool. It's a local radio station.
Oh yeah, I should have explained. Now they're kind of just, I haven't listened to them in so long.
It went coffee shop music, and now I don't know what the heck it is now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it dubstep?
Probably. I remember there was quite a ruckus on the station when they started playing Mumford and Sons. Have you listened to them, Art? They're the banjo playing band.
Yeah, I don't mind them.
I don't mind them either, but I remember people were like really mad about it, and they had this recording of this woman that became kind of famous because like she had been stuck on the freeway because during the time, like Art says, a local radio station, the freeway was closed down for like hours. So she was stuck on there, so she kept leaving messages on their answering machine because they have a hotline called the Afro line where you can like leave messages. And I guess they played that Mumford & Sons so long, like on the loop, that she was stuck on the road that she left a message, and she's like, oh my gosh, enough with the banjos. She's like, what is this? She's like, I gotta get home and feed my dog, and I've heard this banjo song like 10 times.
Well, I don't know. I mean, K-Rock also played that Come On, Eileen. Doesn't that have a banjo in it, too?
I think it does. Title says, it'd be funny if someone was tuning in for the first time when you guys are making those noises.
We'd be certifiable, and then they'd put straitjackets on us and whisk us away.
They instantly dislike the video and leave. Or like. Mumford and Sons, they have really hokey music that plays on commercials and in romantic comedies, says Rhaegar. Yeah, they do. There was that.
They're probably making more money doing that, though.
I know. probably are.
They're not selling out coliseums, I'll tell you that.
They did a tour where they played on a train.
Did you go see Mumford and Sons? Yeah. They are a great live act.
You had to experience those banjos.
Those Hicks live.
Let's see. I like drum and bass. Dubstep is weird. It's like spastic mix of trance and drum. Yeah, that's not a bad summary of what it is.
What is the new one? It's like the rap. What is that? Trap.
Trap music.
Trap music.
Yeah, there was like a musician you showed me that used to be like a rocker who now does trap music.
You got some grill work done. So weird.
That was like kind of sad to watch, actually.
There was this local band. They were called Drive A, and my daughter really liked them when she was about 15. So I took her to the House of Blues to see them. They were opening up for another band, and they were pretty good. They were really young. They were like 15, 16 years old. So I'm sitting in the back like with their parents. It was so weird. And so yeah, so the singer from that is now doing that trap music.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. I don't know how one would describe trap music.
I don't know how you go from like punk music to trap music though.
Mumble rap.
I guess that's probably why he had the grill work done, so he could mumble easier.
Is that why they all mumble? Because their like mouth is
full of metal. I would imagine it wouldn't help, right? Like
I wouldn't think so. They're
if you
huge.
have braces on, you talk weird. That's what I always thought. Like those grill, like are they just jealous that they didn't get to wear braces when they were young?
Yeah, they're pretty dopey looking. They're also crazy expensive, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's gross. You have something like that in your mouth.
They get that removed?
Yeah, you can take them on and off.
Oh, really? So it's like a retainer thing? Like it just goes over the... It's not surgically or like whatever glued in?
Grills are, yeah. They're just like, they mold them to their teeth.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't see his mouth if his were... Because some people have straight up, they just have it like done to their teeth, which is weird. Would Mon Calamari opera be trap music? No. No, it wouldn't. Trap music is symbolism. What is symbolism? Is not hip hop. I don't know the names that you're saying because I don't know a lot about hip hop. Grills. It's a sign of who not to date for girls. At least that's what I tell my sister.
Yes.
I don't know how we got on the subject of grills. I never thought I'd be discussing that.
You never know on this show. Well, should we wrap it up? My slow motion inking?
Yeah, let's do it. It was a good one.
It was fun.
It was.
Hanging out. Talking grills.
At the shack.
I'm going to get some grill work done.
Gold or silver?
I think gold.
Ooh, classic.
Precious metal. I'm going to go platinum.
Ooh. After we get that chrono money.
And then I'm going to get like diamonds set in it.
At a grill tier.
We should do some fancy Photoshop work. Have us both with grills. Like, we're so successful. Look.
Mark Flannel says, thank you for inking in slow motion, but continuing to converse at standard speed.
Yes, thank you. Yes, now I got to finish this entire page up later.
So thanks, you guys. Don't forget, Black and White is in demand on Indiegogo. Link is in the description. Let's take a look at the fan art one last time.
Yes, aw.
If you guys have your own fan art you'd like to submit, feel free to do so using the MediaFire link in the description. And you can submit any of your artwork there if you'd like art to give you a portfolio review in the future. It's a good time.
Oh, should we give away a print?
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
Well, the one that we signed, we actually packed it up and sent it out to somebody, so we need to get another one in here.
All right. I almost forgot. Where are they?
They're in that box. They might be under the drawing board, little lap board.
Okay.
We have them stashed away, you guys.
There they are. Ooh, there's an original black and white thing here.
What?
This. Hold
Bring
on.
it or show it.
Okay.
What is it? I don't know what this is, you guys. Here's a layout I've been working on.
No spoilers.
Here's the layout. I'm just trying to razzle dazzle.
Give
Oh,
me a
wait.
little razzle-dazzle.
Oh, here we go.
Let me grab a piece of paper.
Here's the original.
Don't leave yet, you guys.
Image Comics. Here's the new. This is even better.
Ew, there's a dead bug on this paper.
No.
Also, this is drawings on it, so I can't.
Don't unplug anything.
I won't. I'm crawling around trying to find some paper
For the
for the name writing. Do you
Yeah.
have any near you?
we're never prepared. I got Post-its right here.
Okay, I'll use Post-its.
Here's a pin too.
All right. Look at that.
We got stuff. We got you covered here. All right, so the idea here is to reward you guys after all of our crazy talk, and to bribe you if you're on the fence about buying a black and white book on Indiegogo right now.
In demand, at least for another month.
You know, we just want you guys to like us, so we're gonna give you free stuff. So yeah, we got this 11 by 17 print that we made up just to kind of thank you guys and to kind of keep the energy of black and white going strong. So what we're going to do here is, how did we do it? Do they have to type the whole phrase in?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to type in the code phrase, and thanks, Sketch Therapy. You have to type in the code phrase "from the ashes." So, from now till we go out, from the ashes.
Okay. So wait, I'll time it. Once the big hand gets on the 3, then yeah, in the chat type in "from the ashes." All right, go.
And I will be writing down your names. I will pull them from the hat. And one of you guys is going to get hooked up with this print. All you got to do, if you are chosen, is contact us through the contact link, second link in the description.
Yes. So this phrase has something to do with the comic book. So when you guys get the book and you find out what this phrase means, you're going to be delighted. You're going to be going, "Oh my gosh, Taylor and Art are so clever. They are so fun." And we're going to draw it from this hat right here. So we're going to put your names in this hat, and then I'll draw it right out of this hat just for you guys live.
Oh, there's a lot of you guys this time.
Come on, more. Come on, participate. She's running out of paper. Slow down.
I am.
Slow down. Give the
No,
poor
keep
girl.
it going.
Give the poor girl a break. She's getting carpal tunnel.
I'm trying to stick this back on so I don't waste it.
Don't worry about it. Just write.
Let's see.
So many names.
From the slippers, that's not it.
No, you're disqualified. From the
Plus,
ashes.
I think you already won.
Yeah, so you guys, we did have one of you in the chat that lived in, I forget where, Brazil or someplace, Peru. So we can't ship you guys out of the United States because I'm going to do this all on our dime. So I can't pay $14 for shipping. So, we're almost there. We have 15 seconds left. No, we have 20 seconds left. We have 15 seconds left.
Get it in, you guys. while
From
we
the
still
ashes, come on. We have 10 seconds left.
We will rise.
We will rise. We have 5 seconds left.
Sketch Therapy says, I'll pay for my shipping.
Well, hopefully you win. All right, time's up.
Okay. Let me hand over these names.
These are all going to be on hot pink Post-its.
Thank all of you guys for participating.
Yeah,
They
thanks.
are hot pink Post-its. I like this color.
The hot pink Post-its.
Rutabaga.
Rutabaga.
Do I have to ball these up, or are we just gonna...
Here, just hand them to me, and
Okay.
I'll help you with them.
I have a few more. There's 2.
All right, I'm going to fold these so I don't know who they are.
Ooh, good call.
Yeah, because I don't want to get, like, oh, you cheated.
Accused of favoritism.
I don't want any of that. All right, here we go. Some of these are like sticky.
Sticky Wicked.
Sticky Wicked.
I'm sorry, I wrote them too high up. I was nervous because you guys are typing so quickly.
Okay, so I'm putting all these. Oh, I almost dropped one. I'm putting all these.
There they are.
Into the sticky hat.
No, the hat's not sticky.
I think some of these Taylor are gonna stick together. We might have 2 winners. No, we can't. Look at this mess.
You gotta pull them apart. You gotta pull them apart.
No, I don't know how to deal with this, to be fair. How do I do this?
You just gotta pull one off the pile.
Yeah, but what if there's 2?
Then you pull one off and throw it back.
Okay. Yeah, but okay, so I'm not looking. I'm blind.
Okay, all right.
I'm just putting my hand in, I'm looking away. All right. So I have this one. This one
Okay,
right here.
okay.
You guys saw that, right?
It was all legitimate.
All right.
We believe in you, says Knox.
Uh-oh. Man, this is
Oh my gosh, the Sticky Wicked!
This is gonna seem freaking rigged. Didn't he win before?
I don't think so. He's just one of our regulars. Sticky Wicked 447. Contact us in the contact link in the description.
Well, you just won this print.
Sticky Wicked, this is a cluster F.
I know. This is how we do everything, though. All right, I'm just gonna.
Oh my god.
I think there's 3 stuck together here. And
I'm sorry, everyone.
There's even a hair stuck on this one.
Sorry.
And get this, it's a gray hair. I wonder whose hair that could be.
The cat's.
It's the cat's. He's old. All right, so where are you going to sign?
Wherever you don't.
This here, with this Sharpie right here. Wherever I don't?
Yes.
All right, where does Sticky Wicket want? Right here?
Do it.
Let's
That's
do it
the
here.
spot.
All right, there you go.
Now I don't know where to put it. Okay.
Sign her boobs.
I would, but I want to be disrespectful to the fictional woman. What if she gets offended?
What if she... Too bad this one doesn't have sticky on it, because then I could stick it here.
Ironically, the only one that's not.
The only one that isn't Sticky
that
Wicket.
isn't sticky.
We'll put a piece of tape on it. Well, there you guys go. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting us have so much fun with you. Sticky, send us your address. How do they get a hold of us?
There is a contact link in the description. It is the second link, so go ahead and contact us through that via email.
Yes, and we'll send this print out to you as soon as we get that. So thanks again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see you soon.